Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now today I'm in a secret spot where I'll be dead baiting for pike. I'll be using a running ledger on one rod and a drifting float on the other, and hopefully we're going to catch some big pike. So across the way from me here there is another venue, but the water from that venue actually comes down into a little stream, separates into a vast woodland area, and then comes into this body of water to my left hand side. Now I have fished this spot a few times before, but only for lure fishing. I've never dead baited from here before, so I'll be interested to know if I can pick up a bigger fish. Having said that, I've had some really good success on the lures over the last couple of years, picking up some really nice pike. In fact, at one stage I did land my PB pike from exactly this spot. Although it is a secret spot, I do know of a couple of other anglers who have fished from here as well, but it's relatively unfished, unpressured, so hopefully we can pick up a few nice pike. I've got a variety of dead baits with me. I'm going to be trying them all, and hopefully one of them a pike takes its fancy to. Time to get the rod set up, cast out there, sit back and wait for the action to happen. Now, as you'll see throughout this video, this is a very tight swim, lots of trees around the bank. I'm going to try my best to cast as best as I can, but as you might have seen before, I am prone to a few casting accidents. Let's hope there's none of those today. Oop. Huh. There you go. I told you I was going to have a few accidents with my casting. Straight into a tree above my head. But I brought the dead bait in, made sure that was safe, the rig was safe, cut the line. I'll retie it and try again. Right, re-rigged and ready to go. This time a little mackerel tail going to pop up just off the bottom. And what I did, because I had some line up in that tree, I peeled it off, found where it's damaged the line a little bit, cut that away and totally re-rigged it. I don't want any damaged line on my reel. The last thing you want is to hook into a pike and to snap off for your error. So yeah, always just check your line, especially if you get into a snag. Make sure you're fishing safely. Let's try that again. Let's try not to cast into the tree this time. Can't make any promises. Right, so a couple of switches on the float. Yeah, oh yeah, runs a fish. Whew, actually took it. It's off. It's off, no. Come back for it. They pull me in then. Is it going to come back? Yeah, I think it's come back. No, it's not come back. Twitch it again. Damn. Ah, no. Gutted. Where did it take it? No bite marks on it. Well, unfortunately, just lost one on the float. Saw it twitch a couple of times, went still, gave the rod a little twitch, and straight away the pike was onto the bait. Unfortunately, I lost my balance, my footing wasn't right, and then the rod nearly got pulled out my hand, and then the fish came off. So, a bit of bad angling on my part there. Hopefully that fish might come back, but whilst the rod's out of the water, I'll quickly run through the float setup. So I've just got a float stop coming up my main line there, and what I've been doing, I've been adjusting that, so if it's drifting too quickly I'll make it a little bit shallower, So I want the bait just kind of drifting just off the bottom. I've found that spot now. It's about 4 foot deep. So coming down from there, I've got a bead that just protects the float against the float stop. Nice cheap sea float. A bead, a weight, another bead, so that just stops the float, the swivel and the weight all clanging into each other and causing damage. And then coming onto there, I've just clipped my wire trace on. It's about 2 foot long. And I had a bit of whiting on there. So if you haven't seen the video from a couple of weeks ago, I went to Chesil Beach, caught some whiting, decided to try them as a hook bait, or as a dead bait, whilst pike fishing. I did manage to land a fish, so go check that video out if you haven't done so already. Alright, let's hit it and see. Yeah, fish on. But yeah, just 2 trebles on there. The barbed hook's in the fish, the other 2 are barbless. And yeah, just half a whiting. That bait's actually still good to go. I can't see any damage on it, funny enough, so I'm going to cast that straight back out there, give it another go. Damn, it felt like a right fish as well. He pulled the rod out of my hand, so hopefully it's still around, but good sign. There's some fish in the area. Let's hope it comes back, or at least its friend does. Another chance. Right, I'm going to bring the float rod back in now and freshen up that hook bait. Again, on the way in, I'm going to twitch it, let it sink a little bit, and keep twitching it all the way back to my feet. Let's see if we can pick up a pike. Nearly got one doing that last time, fingers crossed. We'll get another chance, and this time I'll land it. So this session is proven to be very, very slow so far. I'm just about an hour left. I'm mixing things up, just trying to nick a bite before I have to go. So on the float this time, I'm using a nice chunky rud, and I've hooked it differently to the rest of my dead baits. So what I've done, I've got a single treble on there, on the end of my wire trace, and I've just hooked it through the top of the rud. It's a nice tough fish, so that should withstand the cast with no problems at all. So yeah, about an hour to go. I'm going to cast this out there, give it a go, maybe give it 20 minutes, half an hour, and maybe try one last thing, maybe a kebab rig before I do have to head off. Fingers crossed we can get a fish before I go. I mean, it's been lovely sitting here despite the rain in this secret spot, but it hasn't produced the goods so far. Fingers crossed this will. So one last roll of the dice on the running ledger setup, and I've swapped it for a kebab rig. Now what I've done is I've cut up to the whiting, the mackerel and the sardines, so I've got a nice cocktail of baits on there, releasing all sorts of scents and flavours, so hopefully that will entice a bite. And what I've done, I've swapped the foam poly ball for a much larger one. I just want to oversize the buoyancy on there, and what I've got is my little shot weights there with a little gap between them and where the hook is. Because if I have the hook there, it's going to get stuck in the weed. So I want it popped up just a couple of inches off the bottom, just to keep it clear, make sure it's fishing and presented nicely. So yeah, bring that rod in, swap it over for this, chuck it back out there. The last half an hour, time's running out. Fingers crossed we can get a bite. That's been my first blank of the season. Right, some movement on the float. You're gonna go? Yep. Here we go. Here we go, fish on. Fish on at last. Oh yeah, feels alright. Big old tail. Oh yeah, pulling back nicely. Come on. Oh, last 10 minutes as well. Tension on that rod. Oh, it's not massive, but let's try and get it in. That is quite small, but we'll take it. We'll definitely take it. If we can land him, we can. We got one. Yes. Finally. We got one. Oh, let's make sure he's safe. There's only one hook in his mouth. Happy days, right. Let's make sure he's safe and then unhook him. So I'll just take off the trace and get the rod out of the way. Let's get him on the bank, unhook him, make sure he's safe, and then give you a better look. Right, it's been a really tough and slow session, and I thought I was going to go home with a blank, but with just 10 minutes to go, we've ended up catching this little jack. Believe it or not, it took that big rod hook bait as well on the float. Managed to cast it out towards the other side of the bank, and yeah, this float started drifting along, and this was the culprit. Not the biggest fish by any means. In fact, my fish seems to be getting smaller and smaller by the session, but if it means I've caught a fish, then happy days. Can't believe he took that massive rod, greedy little thing. He's had a few scraps in his lifetime by the looks of it, but we'll rest her up in the margin before we release her. But you look like you're going to go away fighting fit. Happy days. 10 minutes left. Get the rod out one more time. You never know, we might nick one more. But yeah, very happy to land this one. Thank you very much. Right, that's it, time to end the session there. And it was a much tougher and slower session than I was expecting. Despite it being quite tough over the last couple of weeks, I was hoping coming to the secret spot that sees very little pressure, I might be able to get amongst a few fish. And I had two chances, both on the float. I was twitching the float on the way in and had one bite. Unfortunately that came off. And then 10 minutes before the end, I finally got another chance and landed that little jack. Not the big giant I was after, but still, it's always nice to catch a fish. And it has been a lovely little spot to fish in. Bit of shelter out of that wind and rain, and I've seen absolutely nobody. So that's been really nice peaceful time on the bank. Again, it was a really short session, a bit like from my last video where I went lure fishing. If you haven't seen that one, go and check that one out. Oh, yes! Straight away. And yeah, I'll be back out again next week, hopefully for a bit longer, in a different spot, trying to catch some more pike. The winning tactic today was using the float setup. I had 2 bites on that, and it was the big rod that got me that fish. I can't believe that small jack tried to inhale that massive rod. Well, I can believe it, they are greedy little things, but still, bit of a surprise. I was hoping it would pick up a bigger fish than that. But yeah, really happy. Got some time out on the bank, scratched that itch, managed to get fishing, and that's what it's all about for me. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hope you picked up a few tips along the way. I have tried a lot of different tactics trying to pick out those fish. Had nothing on the running ledger. I've tried different baits. I even tried the kebab rig at the end, and yeah, not a touch on that at all. I was bringing quite a lot of weed back most of the time, despite popping up my hook bait, so maybe I wasn't presented as well as I was hoping to. But nonetheless, I've had a great time, and like I say, that's what it's all about. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all your support with your likes, your comments, and all those new subscribers. Hope you're enjoying the content. I plan to bring you much more throughout the rest of the year and into next year as well. And yeah, take care of yourselves, and hopefully I'll catch you guys again soon.